Welcome to another conversation for a 21st century world. This is Art Johnson and Sandra Early. How are you doing, Sandra?
I'm doing well. Art, how about you?
I am just doing great. You know, I'm really great because we both talked about what we saw last Sunday on 60 Minutes, and it was Bill Gates uh, going on with Anderson Cooper talking about what he's doing in 2021, and he was plugging his book called How to Avoid a Climate Disaster. And it gave me, it was kind of right on time for because, last year, I mean, we're front runners. Last year, we started talking about these books, weren't we? We're talking
Absolutely.
about, climate change, and, we did these books, and Jeremy Rufkin's book on the Green Deal, and, On the Fire with,
Naomi Klein.
Naomi Klein. Yeah. And so now we have something here where you have this, basically what he's doing is he's leveraging his money based on what he's learned. And I have a different opinion of Bill Gates now than I did several years ago. He married a nice woman and he started thinking about a family, and I'm just kind of putting things together. And so he had the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and started giving away money and started going into Africa and getting his eyes open in terms of the impact in the world in a broader sense. And then when the climate thing hit, he was a later adopter. He didn't really get behind climate stuff until about even 20 years after it was reported, like 2006. And then he just had everybody teach me all you need to know. He had these people coming into his office so that he could get up to speed, where then he could again begin to say, well, maybe I should have started applying my money here. And so this year, he's announced this large, this fund called Breakthrough Energy Ventures, right?
Right.
And so what do you think about all this? I mean, what's your opinion of the Gates phenomenon there?
Well, I like what he's doing as a philanthropist. He started out being a garage scientist, engineer, put together all these things, and now he's giving back to the world through the donations that he and his wife are making to different populations across the world. And I think where he can have the most impact is to effect the change through how we can assist. He can assist, we all can assist um, the climate change. So I think it's a great thing. I'm glad he's out there being a leader. We need that in today's times. And we see so many examples of where some things could be avoided if we were invested, involved, educated, and could navigate how we can make the change. So I'm excited that he's doing it. I'm excited that we're talking to individuals about it. And so let's tell them what we know.
And I really like, even before we're through and over with this COVID-19, he's saying we got to get on this right now. Exactly. And we can still deal with that. And he's put some money, he's put billions of dollars into even the vaccine research and all that.
Right.
But he says really the bigger fish to fry is this climate.
Yes.
Because if we do not get to zero, okay, and he talks about a number, what's that number that he talks about? 51 billion tons of carbon.
Right. Yeah. And imagine that he's had time to be educated by the scientists. And here we're going to let science speak about how much there is, things that we do, we don't think about the impact on society, but yet through the education and him passing it down to us, we know as individual citizens, we have opportunities to make a difference, make a change. And there's a lot of topics out there and there's a lot of work to be done. But we as citizens obviously have a voice. We can use our voice. We can still be engaged.
What he says, he breaks it down in a very, 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 very nice and kind way.
Right.
There's actually a New York Times review article by Bill McKibben, who says it's good to have this guy not being one of the rich people that wants to get away and just go leave the earth and go to Mars. Right. That he's focused on the earth and what we can do right here and right now. And the whole question that Anderson Cooper says, it sounds really hard. He says, yeah, it is hard. I'm not saying it isn't hard, but what other choice do we make? Do we just, sit back and then watch, we're already seeing cataclysmic climate disasters before our very eyes. Okay. Exactly. We're looking at the forest fires, or we're looking at the floods, the hurricanes that are just, heated up by the currents and all of that. And so it's like, you can't say you can't do anything about it. It's like, we got to do something about it, and we got to start doing something about it right now. Right. And even you as an individual, it's not all about whether you are just a philanthropist like I am, because I'm aggregating all these other I'm getting us to all get together. He's talking to Jeff Bezos and other people who have the money to all, come on board and to start investing in really, and he's doing the ones where he knows that he can have as much clout, with government and policy. Those big ones like cement, which you never thought that cement was, on the one hand, putting out so much carbon dioxide, absorbing it, and not absorbing it, but putting it out in the manufacturing, and then in its decay, that he has a new way of capturing CO2 and in the mixing of cement, so it's actually entombed, it's sequestered, they call it.
Right.
And then he's talking about different foods that he's invested in, because we've learned that cattle is probably the less efficient ways, because cattle put out so much methane gas and so much greenhouse gas, and it uses so much property that we've got to start thinking about plant-based things. But even in plant-based things, we got to figure out all the systems, the agriculture, the fertilizer. I mean, it's thorough.
It is very, very thorough, and I'm excited because we have an opportunity, individuals have an opportunity to look at the vastness of the climate impacts, and then be prompted, have some input into how we can make a difference.
Yeah.
So not all of us want to be, an engineer or can control what goes on in the environment.
No.
But we do have the opportunity to be educated. We have that opportunity to be interested, and we're going to see some amazing things come out in terms of the awareness topics. And, that's my whole thing. I really like that opportunity, but breaking it down to folks who think they can't make a difference. And it's that relationship building, it's the education, it's being curious about what.
But it's even better than that, because it's money in your pocket. Because, okay, if you connect the dots, and he says, the most impact you're going to have is to impact politicians, who then change policies. Okay. But in order for them, you got to get to the people, and you got to communicate to the people what's in it for them. Okay.
Exactly.
Now, right now, tons of people have lost their jobs. Okay.
Yes.
Because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And when you lose your job, and maybe the job wasn't the best job even then, okay, that you had, okay. Sometimes crisis is opportunity. Crisis is always an opportunity.
For sure.
So if we learn from a communication standpoint how to connect the dots, okay, if we say, we say we need to reduce climate change, you don't just talk about y'all need to just stop climate change. What you need to do is say y'all need to get some jobs by tooling up to get some of these new green action jobs that are coming out. Billions of dollars are being spent or will continue to be spent by those people who are tooled up to work in those industries, either as suppliers or as communicators or as trainers, or in our case, I'm thinking about as a convener of virtual events. You hear what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And you know what? We have to think about the folks that, aren't even at that level where we can communicate and educate the folks that we can reach. Those folks, it's almost like each one take one, and promote it and be involved, because there are folks out there that have no idea how much impact they have on the environment, and we need to reach them as well. So, I hope that through this discussion that we are having, that we can impact and affect some folks at the level that can see this and have them reach down, reach around, and reach up to impact all the folks.
Well, yeah, I mean, particularly in women. Okay, so what happens is women, a lot of women are caregivers. They have kids, right?
Right.
Okay, so the kids have to be home, so someone's got to watch the kids. Okay, right. What if you introduced a new way that the mom working at home could have a home-based business and thrive at that business? Okay.
Absolutely. I think we'll see more and more of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a new normal. It's a new way. It's a new way of engaging. And I keep my call from within is to say, well, what it is that I know that I could share with other people. Listen, right. People, I'm talking to you. What can we do? What can we do to serve you well? What do you need to know about? How about have you ever thought about starting a small business? Or maybe if you have a business and you need to figure out what's going to really help, break through that revenue ceiling. What if we form a community of business people? I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what age you are. Particularly, you could be disabled, but instead of just playing games on your computer or just getting frustrated by Facebook and the bad news, what about you being the good news? The good news of doing some really interesting stuff with a service or a product, okay? Or being part, if you don't feel like you're not that entrepreneurial, of working for a really decent company or organization that cares about you, that understands what you like, how you like to be honored. Isn't that an interesting thing? How you like to be honored in the job that you do, how that you can, based on the goodness in your heart, how can you make that as a revenue stream? That's deep.
It is deep. And, I was, as you were talking, I was thinking about how that education could be applied in the school systems. It could be applied, by the churches, by, the homeschooled folks, by moms that are working from home, and how they can engage their kids, even in the daycare, about the environment, and, start planting some of the seeds that will ultimately lead to the growth of participation in something like climate change.
Yeah. Yeah. How do we get there in the mindset of thinking about, I guess, I know I have dear friends that are getting young people to get them into an entrepreneurial mindset.
Exactly.
Okay. Instead of maybe, a lot of us have learned that just by working for someone else is not maybe the best thing for us. Maybe what we need to do is think about how to run a business, how to make a business, how to take a business from a small little practice to a larger business to even a virtual enterprise. Okay.
Exactly. Being creative and having creative thoughts.
Yeah. And how to use innovation in a way that also, not only has you just survived, but thrive and help the planet at the same time. Is that too, I mean, it's not too big of agenda, because you know why? Because it needs to be done.
Exactly. And we have a whole new world we're in now, where so we can't visit our family, our friends, and our loved ones, but we have Zoom where we can reach out to folks. And there's only so much "hi, how are you" that can go on, but even broader, what are you doing about climate change?
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Here by we're at 2020, and by 2030, they're saying most of the cars will then be electric, and we're already seeing that happening.
Yeah.
So you know what? How about if you're going to make a car buying decision, how about thinking about the best electric car you can buy now? That's going to cut emissions. That's going to cut impact on
And it's
the
supply and demand. If we
right.
send a signal by our buying behavior as consumer,
Yes.
there's a
Yes.
whole lot of power in consumer power. I just watch, I go down, here's a little plug for Safeway, but Safeway now says every aisle you're going to find some organic products. Every aisle is going to have something in it that is, that's eco-friendly and that's organic, better for your health
Right.
than standard products.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
And
it's in the air. I think now we need to corral the energy and get the energy, get the horses pulling in the same direction.
yes, and I think that, with all that's out there now in the universe of awareness and the spiritual universe as well, folks will start paying attention, because one thing about COVID-19 and being quarantined, we're starting to learn how to relax a bit and how to think again and
Yeah.
how to be creative. I mean, folks are doing what they have to do to survive. That's always going to be the case.
Yeah.
But conversations and relationship building and asking questions. Well, how do you do this? I had no idea, you know? So I think we're in the frame that that's going to happen for us.
A lot of times now, when I watch content or I look at a business, the question that comes to me that comes from within is the question, how do they do that? Okay. And then my next question is, how can I do that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then the next question is, how can I show somebody else to do that? How can I
Right.
help someone else know the stuff that I've learned? And it's kind of weird. I'm going to this month I'm going to be 75 years young, right?
Yes.
And I started a business. Listen to this. I started a business at age 50.
Mm-hmm.
Age 50. So for 20 years, there's something I must have learned. There's
Right.
something of value that I can share with other people who are, now, looking at, well, maybe I've always wanted to do this in my life. And gee, I'm a good writer, or, I'm really good at this thing. And, I have this play in my mind, and, and I have these characters that keep marching across my page every time I start talking. Okay. How can I learn more? How can I translate into something real? Okay. How can I actualize that?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times I've learned just in my life, when you step up to the plate and ask the question, guess what? The universe responds in just remarkable ways that you never imagined were going to come to you. Okay.
Exactly. I hope that we can see and help develop kind of the equation, so that folks, if they don't have an idea, they can think about, oh, that's something I'm really interested in. That's like who to contact, who can I talk to? We all need to be engaged in this equation of life that will affect and make a better future for all of us. Climate change.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what I'm learning is in the course of me, I think everybody at the very center of their being has this amazing sense of good. They don't quite understand what it all is, but they know, when you feel good, you feel good. Feeling good is self-evident. I'm feeling good, right?
Right.
And so that's a source of human energy and of creativity and of healing. The more that you feel happy, we know that your biological system is in a better state. When you're stressed out, and you're doing the wrong things, you're the cortisones and all that, you're messing with your heart, you're messing with your stress. So there's implicitly a harmony and a balance in life that it could be at the very center of your being if you learn how to control your mind and your emotional life, and how to tap into that law of infinite supply.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's the same energy, if you really kind of look at it, and the miracle of your life, the miracle of your breath, the miracle of how things heal, and
Absolutely.
the miracle of how things grow. If you start to understand the law of the laws of nature, and the more that you understand about the laws of human nature and the science of your own mind, and then you learn what it is, how it works, and then how to use it, the world is going to be your oyster. I really believe that.
I believe it too. And then, the circle of life. I mean, we talked about that maybe 20 years ago or something like
Yeah.
that. There were lots of movies that were made. It's like uh, opportunity and inclusion and diversification. Those are words that are coming back again and again. But if you think about life, we're integrated not only with the human species, but the animal species, the plant species, and so on. And all of that equals, the circle of life. So we've got to start thinking more about how to break that down so we can understand it and how we can fit into the
Yeah.
slots that are important to us.
And there's a kind of an interesting thing when you talk about, there's two ways to think about inclusion. One way is to believe that you've been left out. And there's enough external reasons to say that, segregation, I'm too old, right. I'm too black, I'm too white, I'm too something or other. Okay.
Exactly.
But the fact is, you're already included.
That's right.
But your consciousness has to already say, I'm included. Okay. I'm part of this humanity, just like everybody else. Not just like, I got a unique contribution to that. Right. Once you understand that consciousness, that conscious evolution, it's different. There's no separation. Okay.
That's correct. Correct.
There's only healing after that. There's only healing over that. There's only uncovering, getting people to understand the reality of the unified experience, of a holistic way of looking at life, the interdependence upon us as human beings, as a species, and the climate thing, and all of these things that look just like challenges, COVID-19, climate, and all that. Man, are these opportunities in disguise, right?
That's right. So Art, I gotta give you hats off for the innovative idea to bring this discussion to your YouTube, to a project that you're working on, and it's very encompassing. How often do you see us coming back to talk to folks about this and integrating their thoughts into this program?
Yeah, people, we're doing this for you. Okay, we're I'm particularly interested in the people who maybe are watching a lot of YouTube, but they never thought of being YouTube presenters or creators themselves, or they never found a channel that really spoke to their needs. Okay, and that just repeatedly gave them bits and morsels of valuable information that can make a difference in their life. That's what I'm being called to do with you, Sandra. And Sandra, I just have great lauding respect and love for you in the way that you've come up together with me and say, okay, Johnson, I'm good. And we just went through a whole bunch of stuff, getting our technology working and our microphone working and the lighting right and all that. But it's worth it, because the feel good is right here and right now. Don't you? I mean, it's the feel good is so, the energy that we start to flow when we get on, when we get on that thing is invaluable, and it's infectious. So if we if we keep communicating good and we give good, that's going to attract more, and it's going to give people a sense of encouragement and empowerment that they're going to step up and say, hey, I like the idea. You're not an old fart. You're here to help me. And you really, and I get it. I get it. So people, do me a favor. If you like this video here, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Also, you can make your comments here, and I promise we'll get back with you on that. Now, if you have a business or you have an idea that you need some support on, we'd love to have you on as our honored guest. You know, we'll say, come in. We're doing this over Zoom, so we can have 100 people on here at any given time talking about stuff and really learning about what it is that you need. So maybe the things that you need more people to find out the good work you're doing. You might have a garden. You might have some kind of cool thing you've invented that you want to share. You know, a song you want to sing, a dance you want to do.
Exactly.
Right? We're open to it. So thank you so much. I think we're going to stop right now. And I just want to, just a buzz and send you guys love and send it back. And because we'll spread it around the planet.
Thank you so much, Art. It's
All
been a
right.
pleasure.
Thank you.
You're
See
welcome.
you later.
See you
Bye-bye.
later. Bye.